Hey, Bliss fans. Richard here, going live without notice. So, what I always want to talk about this morning is motivation and a couple of different forms of motivation. And what inspired this live is I typed out this really long post on Facebook. It was actually on a thread. And gosh, it probably took me 20 minutes to type it out. And then I pressed enter and it vanished. And so I'm thinking, okay, am I going to try to remember what I wrote and rewrite all of that? For some of you. And really what triggered this was the whole rank system in network marketing. So you have all these ranks, you have all these titles, and people go crazy for advancing to ranks, and then they everybody says, well, you're a whatever, platinum whatever, diamond whatever, black diamond whatever, and then, oh my gosh, what happens if you fail to qualify? And some companies then reduce your ranks, like you're no longer this particular rank, and you go to the convention and you're no longer this rank, and your whole team is going, well, hey, how come you're not a triple black diamond whatever anymore, which is not very empowering, right? So what I proposed on this thread was, imagine, I was kind of thinking about John Lennon, imagine a world, imagine a network marketing community, imagine a company that had no ranks at all. You got paid on volume, but there were no ranks. And I actually proposed this to my management team in my company about 10 years ago, and they about strung me up. But I was fascinated with the idea of a pure organic motivational environment where people just pursued success, not based on being triggered around a rank or competing with other people or how fast they got to the rank, or and what happens if they lose the rank and all this kind of stuff. And so it just sounded like a revolutionary idea, right? And maybe someday some company will pick that up and they'll go for it. A rankless network marketing environment. But here's what's going on that I encourage you to all just sort of take a look at in your own business, in your own life. And maybe ranks is just a symptom of it. There's two kinds of motivation. I'll talk about it this way this time. One is what I'm going to call a childish motivation. I kind of speak about it as your petulant child. And that kind of motivation is reactive. It's the kind of motivation that when it sees a rank, it sees a contest or a competition, what it does is it triggers that, oh, I'm going to win. I'm going to be the best. I'm going to be the fastest. I'm going to get to that rank. I'm going to win the contest. I'm going to go to the convention with that rank. And really what's ironic about all that kind of motivation is it's really sort of this childish reaction for us to show up a certain way, look a certain way, prove something to people around us, prove something maybe to our parents, because we don't feel whole necessarily, and we don't feel like a winner. And so if we win, then we think we feel like a winner, right? Now, this is a huge body conversation, but those of you that follow me probably know enough about this to understand what I'm talking about. And if it's the first time you ever heard it, well, just think about it. Think about, your response when somebody says, hey, there's a contest. Do you sort of automatically salivate and say to yourself, well, I'm going to win that. I'm going to be on the trip. I'm going to be one of the people that rises above and everyone sees that I'm a winner? Or do you actually have a different conversation, which sounds like, well, that's what other people do, is they win those contests. I don't win those contests. And so those are what I call reactionary motivational behaviors. And the context for this conversation that was in this Facebook thread is burnout. I wrote an article a few days ago about burnout, which I think is on this page. But burnout is a big thing in corporate America, right? Well, burnout's also a big thing in network marketing. And why is it a big thing? Well, because most people pursuing success in network marketing are using that childish motivation to pursue their goals. They're addicted or reacting to what the company is dangling in front of them. Hey, this contest. Hey, anybody who does this by this date at the convention, you're going to get all this recognition, right? Now, why do companies do that? Because it works. You know, most of us don't have a firm enough grasp on self-motivation to be clear enough about our goals to trigger the resources in us to go achieve some goal. So it's helpful for a company to say, hey, if you do exactly this, if you hit this structure and this volume in this many months, you're a winner, right? So we don't have to come up with that specificity. The company comes up with it for us. And that's why ranks and contests are valuable for people. But here's the context of this conversation was about burnout, and how does burnout happen? Well, if the only way you're pursuing goals is every time somebody dangles something in front of you, every time there's a next rank, every time, you think you did really well, but then somebody's recognized in your company because they did what you did in, 1 month less than you did it, or there's a new rank, or there's a new contest or whatever. If the way you live your network marketing life is addicted to reacting to all of these incentives, proving that you're a winner, well, you can't do that for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. You might be able to do it for a year or two, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 years, but you can't do it forever, right? So the reactive motivational model is a sprint. It's not a marathon. And what you might want to think about in your network marketing career, which most people don't think about, is this is a marathon. Now, it has sprints in it if you want to deploy those sprints, but it's really a marathon. And so you want to maybe pay attention to, how are you motivating yourself? How are you going about setting out your plans for what you want to accomplish in your business? And what I encourage you to do is, instead of deploying your childish motivation, your reactive motivation, your I'll prove it to you motivation, tap into your adult motivation. And what is adult motivation? Well, it'd be kind of the motivation that might come forth if you were in a coaching conversation with somebody about an incentive. So let's say the company announces an incentive, a contest, and maybe you sat down with your coach and what you said was, well, I'd like to win that contest. And what the coach is going to ask you is, why? Right? What's the pay value for you winning the contest? What are you going to get out of winning the contest? And it's not that winning the contest is a bad thing necessarily, but the coach is going to flesh out from you an adult conversation, a mature conversation, a conversation that speaks to, okay, well, if you win the contest, what's it going to take for you to win it? How many days a week are you going to need to work? How many hours a day are you going to need to work? What's going to be your state of being during the contest? Are you going to be frantic? Are you going to be full tilt boogie? Are you going to be, calling 20 people a day? Are you going to be traveling all over the place, right? So they're going to ask you about your state of being. Like, are you going to be peaceful and powerful? Or are you going to be frantically addicted to winning the contest? And what's the consequences of those states of being? Like, how do they impact your team? So if your team's not going for the contest, but you're going for the contest, how does that impact your team? Coach is going to ask you those questions. Coach is going to ask you the questions with, like, okay, physically, are you up for this kind of run? Are you up for this kind of intensity? Like, is your body in shape for that kind of run? Because you may not be running an actual marathon, but running for a contest takes a huge toll on your body, right? Because you're working hard, you're burning lots of calories, you're like talking, you're thinking, you're driving, you're in front of people. Nothing sucks more energy out of me than being with people in a business environment. Boy, I get done with an event, I just go crash. Like, some people are inspired by it, some people, it takes energy from them. So a coach is going to ask you about that. A coach is going to ask you about, what's the toll on your family? Like, what's in it for your family for you to win this contest? So I'm not suggesting that pursuing the contest is not a good thing. Could be a fabulous thing, but the adult motivated person asks all these questions and then consciously chooses to rank advance or win a contest or do whatever they set out to do. Like, and they have a really mature conversation about, okay, you know what, I'm going to go out of balance here. I'm going to go out of balance for 6 months or a year. I'm going to really focus on building this business, and it's okay with me that some other things in my life are going to pay a price. Like, I'm going to have a conversation with my family, and I'm going to get their support about, hey, you know what, mommy needs to run for the roses here for the next 6 months, and here's what that means. You got to make your own peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Okay, is that okay with you? Because here's what's on the other side if mommy wins the contest or hits the rank, or right. So, I mean, I'm just giving you a rudimentary idea of what it looks like to involve the family in the conversation. But this is how adults manage their motivation. And then what happens with that kind of an approach to the business is you have clear critical thinking about what you're pursuing, when you're pursuing it, how you're pursuing it, and most importantly, why you're pursuing it. And so what tends to happen then is you're not constantly being triggered, because if you've been in your company for 7, 8, 9, 10 years, here's what would be valuable for you if you could put it together. Go back and look at the chronological history of the company's incentives. Look at how often they dangled something in front of the field, which could be just, buy 2 of these, get 1 of these free. Oh, now we got to tell everybody about that. We got to promote that this month. Make sure everybody buys 2 and gets 1 free, right? So we put all this energy into promoting that special, and then they say, hey, if you get 5, and then you get on this leaderboard, and so, oh, we got to do that, right? So if the way you pursue building your business is reacting to all the incentives that the company puts forth, I can promise you the company is not thinking about this psychology. They're only thinking about one thing. They're a one-trick pony when it comes to motivation in almost all cases. It's incentive after incentive after incentive after incentive, rank after rank after rank recognition, and then all the little manipulative things that go in there, like if you don't qualify for your rank every year, then you drop back down. And what they're counting on is people panicking. Oh my gosh, no, I don't want to lose my rank. Well, then you better get to work, right? That's how the company motivates. It's really sad that most companies' view of motivation is that archaic and superficial, but that's how they do it. So my message to you is, if you want to be a marathon player in network marketing, if you want to be around for the long haul, if you don't want to pay a huge price for whatever success you create, have a conversation with the adult in you about motivation. And I don't want any of you to hear this like that. I don't want you running for the roses or winning contests or rank advancing or any of that. That's all fantastic, right? I've done it. You've done it. It's part of what we're doing. What I'm encouraging you to do is just don't do it as an addiction. Don't do it as a reaction. Do it as a conscious choice. And what that'll provide you with is, there's not very many people in our profession like me. Well, what do I mean by that? There's not very many. In fact, go ahead, if you know any, type their name in here. How many people do you know in network marketing that have been doing this for 40 plus years? 43 for me now. Full time, not dabbling, full time for 43 years, and are still building and still on fire about it. How many? I don't know very many. It reminds me of, as a pilot, one of my favorite slogans as a pilot is, there are old pilots and there are bold pilots, but there are no old, bold pilots, right? What does that mean? Well, how many people do you know in network marketing that just burn the candle at both ends, going absolutely crazy to hit the next rank, hit the next rank, hit the next rank, win every contest, set every record, and they've been doing it for 25, 30, 40 years? Hardly any, right? One of the things that comes with that childish, motivational, reactive type approach is you tend to pick companies that also are all about that community and all about that culture and all that environment, where it's all about hype and manipulation and records and how fast people do this and how fast people do that. And so you end up picking the wrong company. And so, the people that I know that have been in network marketing 30 or 40 years, not all of them, but most of them, they just joined a new company like 3 years ago or 5 years ago, right? Or 2 years ago or 2 months ago. And, that's a sad state of affairs when your network marketing career does not take advantage of asset residual income. And the only way that happens is you build something once, 4, 5, 6, 7 years, however long you want to build it, and then you get paid forever. And that doesn't mean you stop working. It doesn't mean you stop achieving and pursuing whatever goals you want to pursue. It doesn't mean retirement. It could, but why would you retire from an extraordinary network marketing organization that's paying you really well? Why wouldn't you go grab somebody on your team and lift them through the same process that you achieved? That's really the model of network marketing. But to do that, you can't pick fly-by-night hype companies that are going to be the next billion-dollar baby. I mean, that's just pure stupidity. So what that means is you really, if you want a long-term career in network marketing, you got to be in a company that is proving that they're here forever. And those aren't necessarily the most exciting companies. They're not necessarily the fastest growing. They're not necessarily the hype-based companies. So that really speaks once more to how important it is that you master your own self-motivation and you do it in a way where you can last for 40 years, right? You can stay on fire about this business for 40 years. And, that's an art. It's not reactionary. It's not childish. The children in network marketing, they have stories about what they did one time or two times, but most of them burn out and most of them end up in the graveyard of network marketing. And that's not where I want you to end up. What I'm looking to create in network marketing is generations of people that have been doing this for 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years and still love it. And whether they're making $100,000 a month or $10,000 a month, they make it every month, rock solid income they can count on. And that's an asset worth millions of dollars, if not tens of millions of dollars. And where else in the world, ladies and gentlemen, can you and I invest maybe $500, maybe 5 years of our life on a part-time basis, get mentored by multi-millionaires inside and outside our company, get mentored, do it part-time, earn while we learn, build something that pays us an extraordinary income, and then pays us for the rest of our life? Where else can you do that? There's not another opportunity on the planet. This is the best opportunity for people without millions of dollars to start with. This is the best opportunity on the planet. And to take advantage of it, have the long view. Like, think about, how am I going to stay on fire about this for 10, 20, 30 years? And it's not reacting to every carrot that's dangled in front of you. I trust this is supportive for you on Saturday morning. Thank you for listening. If it has value, share it with your team. From Lanai, remember, the work is worth it.